8th episode of Teen Wolf, being the episode called Time of Death, which makes a lot of sense when it comes to the episode. So, in the very beginning of the episode, we see, first off, it starts off with Styles having I guess a dream that Malia is with him when he's asleep, and and it turns out that's a dream, and you see kind of, I guess, maybe how the whole little spoon thing popped up, and it was a funny scene, but, you know, he wakes up and she's not there, so she's still, at least initially, sore at him for lying to her. But we find out that Scott, Styles, Kira, Liam, and everybody have a plan for trying to lure out the benefactor. And so we see, still in the same beginning part of the episode, that it involves Scott goes to the hospital and he's pronounced dead at the hospital. And so, what is it? Really quickly, I'll get through Derek's part of the story. So Derek, before I continue with the main part, which is Derek took Braden to his loft, and so he put her to sleep in his bed, he's sleeping on the couch, and we find out that he's basically lost all his powers. So Braden starts trying to teach him how to deal with supernatural creatures. So she teaches him how to bend the rules, so how to handle a gun and things like that, and then they eventually end up hooking up. So that's basically that, which something that I'd seen coming for a good while. So it's interesting. That's literally, for the most part, all that happens with Derek, for the main important things. So we find out that with Scott and them that Scott has managed to fake his own death by shocking himself, having Kira shock him in the heart, which kind of, I guess, makes his heart stop, and so it actually kills him. And so he's kind of put into like a sleep, but he can only be asleep for 45 minutes, and if he's asleep for longer than that, then he could die for real. So she shocks him. They go to the hospital, and you see a really good performance by Melissa Ponzia of a distraught mom. You know, her finding out her son died, but it turns out that Melissa McCall on the show is acting, that she knows her son is not dead. So, everybody's there, Noshiko, Kira's mom, Kira, Liam, Styles, and Argent, they're all there to check up on Scott, and Scott's sitting in the infirmary, or not the infirmary, autopsy. He's in like in the shelves. And, so, what's going on outside is they have Argent manages to hack into the security camera so that Styles, Liam, and Kira can watch what's happening. And one of the cameras on the roof go out, so Kira and Liam go up, and it turns out it's a berserker who manages to cut the power to the entire place. So now you know Kate's there. And so Liam and Kira are fighting one berserker on the roof, whereas another berserker is terrorizing various people in the hospital, including Melissa McCall and Noshiko. So both Styles and Argent go down to the autopsy, and they're met up by Kate, who wants to steal Scott's body, I guess to make sure he's dead or to give it to Peter, whatever his plan is, which I'll get to that again in a second. And Argent manages to talk her out of it so that he can see if the benefactor comes, and it turns out he doesn't. And then with that, Kate goes back down to the sewers and tells Peter that Scott's still alive, which is what Peter wants. So this whole time, you know, Scott's asleep, and it says that he'd be dreaming. And Noshiko tells him that he'll be like he's dreaming the entire time. And he has 3 dreams, which symbolizes 3 problems that he has, / I think will have, / is kind of going on, which is the first dream. First off, he wakes up in one of the shelves in the autopsy, and he stumbles out of a locker at school. And then Liam throws him a lacrosse ball, and he follows Liam into a classroom, and there's a computer there. with like a coded list. He puts his name in, and it has the orphans and the mute and the chemist, who's, I guess, Simon from the previous episode. And they said they're on their Deadpool, and he says, I can't kill them. But he's like, yeah, but you kind of have to. They're going to kill somebody. So, and then the mute shows up and kills Liam. And then that's in his dream. Second dream, kind of the same thing. He goes out, and same thing, he falls out of the locker, and Liam throws him the ball, he catches it, except this time his claws are out. And so then they're in the locker room this time, and he's looking, and he's noticing he has more fangs, which I guess he noticed in the previous episode. So he's wondering if he's becoming more of a monster. And then the mute shows up, kills Liam in his dream. And then in the final dream, it starts off the same way. He wakes up in the locker, falls out of the locker, except this time he catches the tomahawk that the mute uses. And then Liam's on the ground, he's bleeding, and then the mute shows him how to do it. And so it shows Scott killing Liam, which I think is a dual thing. It could be him, again with the animalistic thing and kind of the whole Deucalion complex thing where he kills his own beta to get more powerful. Or it could be, hey, I could kill Liam to get money. You know, that could be an issue, you know, because I know the money financials is a big issue. But they wake up to discover that that didn't work. The benefactor didn't show up. So now I got one more thing to say about that, but I'll say that at the end. For Malia goes down to the Hell Vault, breaks into the safe, and finds that her adoption papers are there. And then she's accosted by Peter, in which Peter tries to explain himself. He wants to find Malia's real mother, just like Malia does. So, she wants help with that. So Malia ends up at Stiles' house trying to figure stuff out, but she's worried that maybe her being a killer runs in the family, because she remembers the night she killed her adopted mom and sister that she said, I wish you were all dead. And then, as you know, she transformed into a coyote and killed them. So, that was her story. Whereas Lydia's at the lake house trying to discover things, and Lydia shows her mom meets her up there, and Lydia shows her mom the picture of Meredith. So, who Lydia's mom knows who she is. So she goes out and she gets her grandmother's ashes, and she's like, here, your grandmother wanted you to spread these over the lake when you turned 18, and you're close enough, so here you go. But it's not her ashes in the urn, it's mountain ash. So like, okay, there's not mountain ash in here. So I guess she throws it out, and then she says there's a note that her grandmother left, which is basically looks like the coded list that everybody's been using for for the Deadpool. It's like the coded list that Lydia initially started off with. And so, because that's, Scott also determines that it might be a Banshee who's the benefactor, because he, somebody who wouldn't have to see a body to know if somebody's dead. And so, there's also hinted at that Lydia's grandmother isn't dead, so I don't know if that means she's the benefactor. That's a really big twist if that's the case. But that's the episode. That's Time of Death. I guess things, my usual post-episode things to talk about. The Teen Choice Awards were last night. I didn't really watch them. I just looked up to see if Teen Wolf won any awards, in which I saw two things. One, Dylan O'Brien won Best TV Villain, which is wholeheartedly deserved for his work in Season 3B. And Tyler Hoechlin plays Derek, won Best Support Character, which again, I think is totally deserved. But there was a huge outrage over that, because I guess the winners are chosen like 6 days before. And so, everybody was kind of up in arms, because a Vine person who won a Vine Award informed everybody that he knew he was going to win 6 days ahead of time, so, that's weird. I don't know about that. Is there anything else really to talk about? No, not really. So I think I'm just going to end this review here, and yeah, I'll talk to you guys later.